Hey gang, it's Greg and Janet with Strange RV Tours. Today we are in the historic town of Kilgore, Texas, and we're here to see the world's richest acre. Now, I'll show you a little bit about this place. As you can see, all of these big, tall structures, they're all oil derricks. Now, these are basically replicas of what used to be here, most of them. Some of them are original. Look at this row here. There's actually 12 oil derricks on this 1.2 acre piece of land here. And this is the biggest producing oil field in Texas and possibly America. Show you the historical marker here for it. I'll read this baby to you. World's richest acre, part of the fabulous East Texas oil field discovered in 1930. This 1.195 acre tract had first production on June 17, 1937, when the Mrs. Bess Johnson-Adams and Hale #1 well was brought in. Developed before well spacing rules, this block is the most densely drilled tract in the world, with 24 wells on 10 lots owned by 6 different operators. This acre has produced over 2.5 million barrels of crude oil, selling at $1.10 to $3.25 a barrel. It has brought in more than $5.5 million. A forest of steel derricks for many years stood over the more than 1,000 wells in the downtown Kilgore area, marking the greatest concentration of oil wells in the history of the world. Dozens of these derricks still dot the city's internationally famous skyline. Since 1930, the East Texas oil field has produced nearly 4 billion barrels of oil. It now has more than 17,000 producing wells, and geologists predict a future of at least 45 years for this granddaddy of all oil fields. Its development has attracted to the area many diversified industries and a progressive citizenship with a high degree of civic pride. Now, this place is amazing. They have all kinds of displays here, like the miniature wells here that are set up to look like what this area looked like back in the day and how densely populated it was with oil fields. And this acre's been turned into a park. We'll walk underneath some of these oil derricks. Wow.
Massive.
They are huge.
And they have the stars on top of them, on all of these in this area, and they light them up during Christmas, and it's supposed to be spectacular.
And one of these derricks is supposed to be original, and I'm not sure, but I thought it was this one right over here in the center, but I don't think it is now. I'll tell you why. I thought this was the original one. But right back over here, from what I understand, this one may be the original one right here. It sits back here kind of by itself. And this one it says it has been restored, so this one may be the original one. I bet it is.
It's got different mountings and stuff like that, so it probably is, huh?
Yeah, and you can see there's a pump jack there underneath it, and the ground right here looks like the foundation of a building that it's sitting on here. And I was reading on one of the placards over here that I guess this was where the Kilgore City Bank stood, and it was destroyed so that they could put the oil derrick there. See, it says this photo shows all buildings except the Kilgore National Bank, which was the last to go, torn down to make way for Derricks. Remnants of the flooring from the building behind the bank can be seen underneath the pumping units. So I'm sure that is probably the original one right there.
Right? It's got a plaque here on it.
Okay. And let's see, this was Kilgore before 1937 drilling began. Commerce Street is jammed with boomers during the 30s. Businesses on this site included a hospital, bank, dry goods, and drugstores. All buildings along Commerce Street between North and Main Street were razed. Here's a picture of it when all the oil wells were active. Isn't that amazing? Look at all the ridiculous skyline of just nothing but steel. This is drilling completed 1940. Derricks topped 1,100 producing wells within Kilgore city limits. At the back door of these businesses that face Kilgore Street, the photo shows 24 that stood in the world's richest acre, the greatest concentration of drilled wells in the world. So there was actually 24 wells right here on 1 acre of land. In this photo underneath it says removal. The invention of mobile workover rigs made standing derricks obsolete. Photographed in 1969, only 1 well was not cleared. Kilgore Historical Preservation Foundation was founded in 1987 to restore the famous skyline. Today, 12 reconstructed derricks and 1 Kiba original mark the world's richest acre. So yeah, I'm sure that one right over here is original to the property. But can you imagine how many, what they say, 40 billion gallons of oil? That's crazy.
So you used to pump 27 barrels of oil per hour.
Day after day after day. That's crazy. Talk about a town being built by oil. They've got all kinds of little markers here for it. Isn't that cool? This entire skyline, it's just it's funny when you pull into this town, you start seeing these oil wells all around.
I mean, down the street, down in a field, by a building, behind a building, all over.
Yeah. You can see there's just oil wells everywhere, guys. There's some original ones back over here behind this building, and all the way coming into town, and we got about I'd say a couple miles from the downtown area, we started seeing these oil wells. See, there's one there, there's one way back, there's 2 of them way back over there, there's one here, there's one here in front of us. And if each one of these oil wells has a star, they ought to call this the City of Stars.
They do.
Do they really?
Yep.
Janice said they do. Yeah, there's a couple of them over here sticking out of top of this building. And this is the little downtown area here in Kilgore. You know, you see all these towns that have forgotten their past or just ignore their past. I think it's pretty cool that Kilgore celebrates their past. You know, they had gotten rid of a lot of these oil wells that were here on the Richest Acre, and their Heritage Society, or I guess whatever you'd call it, has come back and put a bunch of them back in just to celebrate their history. What a neat little downtown area, though.
Look, they got neat t-shirts. Look.
Oil well t-shirts. Cool. Alright guys, we hope you enjoyed our little visit here to historic Kilgore, Texas to see the world's richest acre. It had to be incredible living here during the peak of the oil industry here in Kilgore with 1,100 oil wells going at one time. It had to be incredibly noisy, and there had to just be money just flowing down these streets.
Right.
So that would have been neat to see.
Right.
And also please check out our Patreon site. The link for that is in the description below this video. We've got about 160 or so videos on the Patreon site now. And it's growing, and there's a lot of good stuff going on over there, so please check that out. And until next time, we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Strange RV tours will take you places with Greg and Janet's smiling faces. You might see a crazy flavored soda review or some tips to fix your RV too. So come along, won't you join us, friend, as we discover what's around the bend. Just sit right back in your easy chair. Strange RV Tours is on the air. Strange RV Tours is on the air.